Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1 which consists of me, Delsi Hepergita as moderator and my friends Sophia Ramadhani and Arif Wicaksono. We are here to present material about organizing interaction. Good watching guys. Content 1. Chapter overview. 2. Scope and sequence. 3. Levels of organization, macro, micro, vertical, and horizontal. 4. Organizational structure, content and media. 5. The event of instructional. 6. The continuum of learning experience. 7. The hidden curriculum. 8. Instructional activities in non-educational situation. 9. Using organization to improve instructional. 10. Organizing instruction and the instructional design process. 11. Summary. Chapter overview. Content organization allows one to see the depth and breadth of the content that will be covered, while the organization of instructional activities allows one to see the various methods used to communicate the content to the student. To communicate the content to the learner, a course of study that is organized by the content to be covered and the activities used to cover it is called a curriculum. A curriculum for any course of study is described by a scope and sequence, the instructional event and learning experience covered in it, and the method used to deliver those event and experience are delivered. Scope and sequence. Therefore, curriculum is most often measured in years. Units are measured in months or weeks. They are large sets of activities that relate to specific themes, e.g., oceanography or Greek myths. Lesson plans contain the specific day-to-day activities that comprise a unit. The activities articulated in lesson plans are measured in hours or minutes. The word curriculum is Latin in origin. Its original meaning is related to racing and race courses. Literally, translate a curriculum is a race, a lap in a race, or a racetrack. Today, the word curriculum is used to refer to the organizational of a course of study. A curriculum can be thought of as the set of markers necessary to define a course. Translation course. In college and university settings, people think in terms of program study syllabi and classes. A program of study is the entire set of courses that, once complete, leads to the conferring of the degree. A syllabus is the scope and sequence description for a single course, which is usually one semester in length, and classes are the individual meeting held regularly throughout the semester. Classes are sometimes referred to as lesson in post-secondary education, particularly in the case of non-synchronous distance education, when students and the instructor do not meet at a specific time on a specific day, but instead complete assignments that include presentation as well as reading and responding within a given period of time, usually a week or a few days. Levels of organization: macro, micro, vertical, and horizontal. Curriculum expert George Posner 2003 described organizing instruction by macro and micro level and by vertical and horizontal dimension. Macro and micro level are relative terms when used in connection with instructional organization. According to Posner, the broadest macro level is that which refers to educational level E.G, the difference between elementary and secondary education. The micro level at its most Specific refers to the relationship between concept, fact, or skill within lesson Posner. Description of horizontal and vertical dimension of instruction help to clarify the difference between scope and sequence. If one thinks of a program of study laid out sequential like timeline, the sequence of study is the vertical dimension. For example, first grade, second grade, third grade. The horizontal dimension describes the scope, that is all the various concurrent and integrate activities. Posner refers to organizing curriculum content that is taught concurrently as the horizontal organization. He refers to sequencing of content and activities that is deciding when content will be present as vertical organization. Organizational structure, content, and media. Posner 2003 stated there are only two basic methods of organizing a curriculum or program of study. Instruction can be organized by using either a content or a media structure. A content structure organizes the instruction by the concept, skills, or attitudes students are to acquire as described by the instructional objective. A media structure organizes the instruction by the activities, method, and material used to teach the concept, skills, or attitude described by the instructional objective. The event of instruction associated with Posner micro-level organization of instruction is determining the order of the activities within a given lesson, known commonly as the event of instruction. These events are discrete activities that work best in a specific order. The most elemental series of instructional events consists of an instruction, a body, a variety of activities related to content. To the content, a conclusion, and assessment. Smith and Regan 2005 as an example. Consider a typical K-12 teacher lesson plan. See figure 7.1. The activities and evaluation section have been labeled by using the four elemental events of instruction.
The event of instructions. The eminent instructional designer and scholar Robert Jagny 1960 to 2002 theorized that there are 9 events of instructions. 1985. 1. Gain the learner's attention. 2. Inform learners of the objective. 3. Simulate a recall of prior learning. 4. Present the stimulus. 5. Provide guidance for the learners. 6. Elate learner performance. 7. Provide feedback. 8. Assess learner performance. 9. Enhance retention and transfer. Provide practice and reviews. To put this theory into practice, each of the events described requires at least one instructional activity. The order of the activities makes a difference in the effectiveness of the instructions. The careful consideration of instructional events is analogous to the consideration that goes into a well-planned meal. The order of dishes served affects the overall experience. The continuum of learning experience. All learning experience can be placed on a continuum. At one end of this continuum are experience where the learners pick up skills, concepts, and attitudes by participating in concrete real-world activities. Most learning activities fall between the two extremes of this constrained abstract continuum. One of the most popular methods for categorizing classroom teaching. Most
Learning
people are
activities
familiar
within
with classroom
this continuum
teaching is their
through
personal
personal
experience.
The assumption
At the base of
is
their
that
accounts
most
are
of the
direct
most
experience
of the
that
students
have a
in a
purpose,
particular class
direct and
are
purposeful
of the same age
experience,
and have
real
had
world
similar
activities.
experience with school
Simulation
subjects.
and dramatizations in the middle
One
they
assumes
count are movie
that
or
a
video
person in
presentations,
third grade has complete
drawings and
first grade
photographs,
and with school
and
subject.
audio recordings.
For
At the
example,
top, the count
one
are
assumes
visual and
that
verbal
someone
symbols, text
in
and
third
speech.
grade has complete first grade.
Psychologist Jerome Bruner described learning experience as one of the three types: enactive, iconic, or symbolic methods of delivery. The most popular of these include the traditional in-person approach, classroom teaching, programmed instruction, and distance education, including instructional media. Classroom teaching. Most people are familiar with classroom teaching through personal experience. The assumption is that most of the students in a particular class are of the same age and have had similar experience with school subjects. E.g., one assumes that a person in third grade has complete first grade and with school subject. For example, one assumes that someone in third grade has complete first grade and grades 1 and 2. This approach extends to post-secondary settings where groups of students take classes with one of several instructions. Students in those classes must fulfill the necessary requirements, i.e., completing certain courses or being an undergraduate or graduate students for the class in order to participate. Programmed instructions. Programmed instruction is an arrangement of materials that allow students to work independently to form response and receive feedback on those response, receiving positive reinforcement for correct responses. Positive reinforcement for correct response. The feedback and reinforcement comes from the instructional media, not from the direct instructor or facilitator. Although form of programmed instruction has been a part of teaching since ancient Greece, Sater 1990. This form became very popular in the 1960, based targetedly on the work of the famous behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner. Famous behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner described the need to perfect teaching machine, which is an automated method of delivering instruction that would allow many learners to work through the same content at each learners at their own page. Distance educations. Currently, the most common perceptions of distance education is the traditional one teacher, many students, translated into a communication environment that allows students to participate without having to gather
gather at a specific geographic locations. Specific geographic locations, distance education can be synchronous in nature. Everyone involved participates within a certain time frame. Using video conferencing or online chat or as corners, each person involved participates at a time or of their own choosing. Sharing message using online discussions board, postal mail, or email message. Asynchronous distance education can also be delivered in the form of programmed form, which allows students to review material at an individualized pace without the need of or support of a teacher or peer group.
The hidden curriculum, although the content for a course of study can be described in terms of a curriculum, it is important to realize that there is often a hidden curriculum that accompanies the one described. The content and activities used to teach it combine to create a set of experiences for the learner that causes a change in how he or she relates to the world of at least that part of his or her world upon which the content focuses. For example, young people do not just learn facts and figures while in school. They learn how to deal with others outside their home environment. This is referred to as socialization and is an important aspect of the school experience. People preparing to enter a profession also learn from the hidden curriculum. Participating in instructional activities with peers and other members of that professional community reveals the method, expectation, and actual practices at community. Instructional activities in non-educational situations. There are times when instructional activities can be used to improve performance by specifically seeking to teach new information, skill, or attitudes to others. The field of Human Performance Technology or HPT directly addresses this issue. Human Performance Technology has been described as the systematic and systemic identification and removal of barriers to individual and organizational performance. HPT utilizes a wide variety of interventions drawn from various disciplines, including behavioral psychology, instructional system design, organizational, and human resource management. HPT emphasizes the analysis of current and desired of performance level, looking for causes of performance gaps, grading the process of eliminating or minimizing those gaps, and evaluating the result. If the analysis of human performance issues indicates the need for instructional activities, purpose of the activity to provide support and job aids. Job aids are devices that relieve an individual of the need to memorize a set of steps or procedures. Often present in paper or electronic format, job aids do not teach. Instead, they support performance. One typically finds job aids wherever esoteric procedures are necessary to complete a task. The task itself is understood by the individual, but the steps involved in completing the task may be difficult to remember. Examples of job aids can be found in public transportation settings where ticketing machines provide instruction for their use, and in most business offices where the steps involved in using the copy or fax machine are post. Organization to improve instruction. Understanding the organization of instruction helps an instructional designer with the following tests. One is choosing activities that support remediation and extension by using scope and sequence organization to identify appropriate content for students who need either extra support or an extra challenge. Two is choosing activities that support the need of a variety of learning style, selecting a variety of different types of enactive, iconic, and symbolic experiences and using dual counts as an organizer. Three is selecting activities most appropriate to each instructional event in order to create an effective series of activities for a given reason or instructional intervention, making available job that support the student and allow him or her to focus on the concept to be learned instead of the step involved in completing a specific task. Last is choosing activities that are best suited to the delivery method or choosing the best delivery method to meet an individual's or an organization needs. Organizing instruction and the instructional design process. Organizing content and activities is an important part of the instructional design process. No matter which approach you take, organizing instructions should help you answer the following question. One is how much content will the instruction have? When will different parts of the content be introduced within the instructional design? What kind of enactive, iconic, and symbolic activities will be present to the learners? What kind of support activities will be offered for students who need extra help? And what kind of activities will be offered for students who seek a greater challenge? Summary. The content to be covered and the instructional activities is to confirm that content can be organized into a curriculum. A curriculum defines and describes the content to be covered in terms of its scope or the amount of information, and sequence or the order in which the information is presented. Instructional content can be further organized at the macro level, for example, elementary versus advanced levels. On the micro level, the relationship between concept, fact, and skill within any given lesson. Instructional content can also be described as having horizontal and vertical dimension. The horizontal dimension is the range of content taught concurrently at any one time. The vertical dimension describes the sequence of the content taught over time. The organization of a curriculum can be based on either a content structure, the concept, skill, or attitude students are to acquire, or a media structure, the activities, method, and material used to teach the content. The order in which activities are present in a lesson is referred to as the event of instruction, although instructional event may be described in much greater detail. The four basic events are introduction, body, conclusion, and assessment. Each instructional event has two aspects. The suppletive, that which is provided by the activity, and generative, that which is created by the student. Experiences can be said to exist within a continuum that range from the concrete real-world situation to the abstract symbolic representation. Jerome Bruner described three types of learning experiences. One is enactive, iconic, and symbolic. These experiences are divided into more specific instances by using Edgar Dale's count of experience. The method of developing instructional experiences include traditional classroom teaching, program instruction, the arrangement of content that allows students to work independently while receiving feedback from the instructional presentation. And distance education, students and teachers working in geographically diverse locations. This method can be described as providing equal feedback to both instruction and student, or providing feedback to the student alone. Non-educational instruction events are a part of the discipline of Human Performance Technology, or HPT. A common example of an instructional design that is not intended to teach is the job aid. A job aid supports performance by relieving an individual of the need to memorize a set of steps or procedures. Understanding the organization scope, sequence, event experiences, and delivery method help the instructional designer understand what is necessary to create instruction that is effective for a variety of learners, from the average student to those who require either more support or greater challenges.
Thank you guys. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.